Imagine a world over 4,000 years ago, when the first great cities rose from the dust of Mesopotamia. In the shadow of towering walls and gleaming ziggurats stood Uruk, the mightiest city of its time. Discovered in ancient libraries, the oldest written tale in human history, it tells of a king who was part god, part man, and entirely restless. This is where our story begins, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh ruled Uruk with unmatched strength. He was 2/3 divine. Born of the goddess Ninsun and a mortal priest king. He was taller, stronger, and more handsome than any man alive. He built the city's massive walls with his own hands, brick by brick, a wonder that still stood millennia later. But power came with arrogance. Gilgamesh oppressed his people. He claimed the right to sleep with every bride before her wedding night. He forced young men into endless labor and brutal contests. The citizens of Uruk cried out to the gods, "Spare us from this tyrant." The gods heard their pleas. The great mother goddess Aruru pinched sand from the earth and shaped a wild man to match Gilgamesh's strength. She named him Enkidu and breathed life into him. Enkidu was born in the wilderness, living among the animals. He drank from streams with gazelles, freed beasts from hunters' traps, and knew nothing of cities or kings. One day, a trapper spotted Enkidu sabotaging his snares. Terrified, the trapper ran to Uruk and told Gilgamesh. The king, intrigued, sent the temple priestess Shamhat to the watering hole. For 6 days and 7 nights, Shamhat taught Enkidu the ways of humanity: love, bread, beer, and clothing. When it was over, the animals fled from him. Enkidu had become civilized. Now drawn to the world of men, Enkidu traveled to Uruk. He heard of Gilgamesh's tyranny and stood in the street to block the king's path to a bridal chamber. The two giants clashed in an epic battle that shook the city. Fists flew, walls cracked, dust rose like a storm. They fought as equals until Gilgamesh finally pinned Enkidu. But instead of rage, Gilgamesh felt respect. Enkidu felt the same. From that moment, the wild man and the king became the closest of friends, brothers in soul. Together, they dreamed of glory. Gilgamesh said, "Enkidu, my friend, let us seek fame that will echo through the ages." In the distant cedar forest lives the monster Humbaba, guardian of the trees sacred to the god Enlil. No man has ever defeated him. We will. Enkidu feared Humbaba's terrible power, but loyalty won. The elders of Uruk warned them, but the heroes armed themselves with axes and swords and set out on the long journey. Deep in the cedar forest, they found the guardian, Humbaba, a giant with a face like coiled intestines, breath of fire, and a roar that could kill. The monster bellowed, shaking the trees. Terror gripped Enkidu. He wanted to flee. But Gilgamesh rallied him. And with the help of the sun god Shamash, who sent mighty winds to blind Humbaba, the friends struck. Gilgamesh delivered the fatal blow. They cut down the tallest cedar and built a great raft to carry the timber, and Humbaba's head back to Uruk. The city celebrated their return. Gilgamesh washed, put on royal robes, and shone like a star. But victory brought danger. The goddess Ishtar, mistress of love and war, saw Gilgamesh's beauty and desired him. "Be my lover," she demanded. "I will give you chariots of gold and lapis lazuli." Gilgamesh refused harshly. He listed all the lovers Ishtar had destroyed. The shepherd turned to a wolf. The stallion whipped to death. Enraged, Ishtar ran to her father Anu, god of the sky, and demanded the bull of heaven to punish Uruk. Anu warned that the bull would bring 7 years of famine, but Ishtar threatened chaos. So the bull of heaven descended, a massive beast whose snorts created pits that swallowed hundreds of men, whose hooves cracked the earth. Gilgamesh and Enkidu rushed to fight it. Enkidu seized the bull's tail. Gilgamesh plunged his sword into its throat. The beast fell dead. The heroes feasted with the people that night, laughing and boasting. But the gods were furious. Someone had to pay for Humbaba's death and the bull of heaven. Enlil raged, and the council decided Enkidu must die. That night, Enkidu dreamed of the underworld, a dark house of dust where the dead wore feathers like birds and ate clay. He fell ill. For 12 days he suffered, cursing the trapper, Shamhat, even the cedar gate he had built. But in his final moments, he blessed Shamhat for bringing him to Gilgamesh, the greatest friend he could ever have. Enkidu died. Gilgamesh wept like a child. He covered his friend's body with a veil and refused to bury him until a maggot fell from Enkidu's nose, proof that death had truly come. Grief shattered Gilgamesh. For the first time he feared his own mortality. If my brother can die, so can I. I will not accept this fate. He left Uruk in animal skins, wandering the wilderness like Enkidu once had. He sought Utnapishtim, the only man the gods had ever granted eternal life, the survivor of the great flood. The journey was perilous. Gilgamesh crossed mountains where scorpion men guarded the gates of the sun. They tried to turn him back, but his determination moved them. He traveled through utter darkness for 12 leagues, merging into a garden of jewel trees. At the edge of the world, he found Siduri the alewife. She advised him to accept life, eat, drink, dance, love. But Gilgamesh pressed on. Siduri told him of Ur-Shanabi, the boatman who could ferry him across the waters of death. With Ur-Shanabi's help, Gilgamesh crossed the deadly sea, careful not to touch the water. Finally, he reached Utnapishtim, an old man living in paradise with his wife. "Why do you look like a beggar who has traveled so far?" Utnapishtim asked. Gilgamesh told his story, begging for the secret of immortality. Utnapishtim replied that death is the fate of all mortals, only the gods live forever. But he told Gilgamesh the story of the flood. How the gods once decided to destroy humanity, but the god Ea warned Utnapishtim in a dream. He built a giant boat, loaded it with animals and his family. The storm raged for 6 days, drowning the world. When it ended, Utnapishtim sent out a dove, a swallow, a raven. The raven did not return. He offered sacrifice, and the gods, regretting their destruction, granted him and his wife eternal life as a special gift. Then Utnapishtim tested Gilgamesh. "If you would live forever, first stay awake for 7 days." But exhausted from his journey, Gilgamesh fell asleep immediately and slept for 7 days. Defeated, Gilgamesh prepared to return home. But as a final mercy, Utnapishtim told him of a plant at the bottom of the sea that restores youth. Gilgamesh tied stones to his feet, sank to the ocean floor, and plucked the thorny plant. "I won't become immortal," he said, "but at least I can bring youth back to the elders of Uruk." On the journey home, Gilgamesh stopped to bathe in a cool pool. He left the plant on the shore. A snake smelled its sweet scent, slithered up, and stole it. As it swam away, the snake shed its skin, reborn young. Gilgamesh wept. He had come so far, only to lose even the lesser gift. But on the final leg home, as Uruk's walls rose on the horizon, something changed. Gilgamesh looked at the city he had built, the great walls, the temples, the life within. He understood at last. Death comes to all. But what we build, what we love, the stories we leave behind, these endure. Gilgamesh returned to Uruk no longer a tyrant, but a wise king. He ruled justly until his time came. And when he died, the people mourned the greatest hero the world had ever known. And his story, carved on those ancient tablets, still speaks to us today. It reminds us that the search for meaning isn't in escaping death, but in living fully, loving deeply, and leaving something beautiful behind. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the oldest epic ever told. If you enjoyed this retelling of Gilgamesh, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what ancient story should we explore next?